I'm Dan Noone. I'm the CEO of G2 Goldfields. We're a gold exploration company with projects in Guyana. Currently, we have an MRE outstanding, which has opportunity in our business. We're still drilling away on the Oko main zone and also up at Aramu and other areas. Our symbol is GTWO. We trade on the TSX main board. We also trade on the OTC under the symbol GUYQX or GF.
Dan, good to see you. You've been very busy since I last saw you, and so I feel rude for asking this, but look, Reunion G mining deal has come together. Does that mean people are going to stop asking you that question, or does this just make it more interesting?
Well, I had to stop asking the question. It's just a different name now. It's G mining, but yeah, I mean the projects are obviously joined at the hip. As the drilling we've done along that trend is starting to really show it's continuous along that 5 kilometres from the south of the Block 4 all the way through to Oko North. So, definitely that question comes up more and more. Obviously, G Mining, now having bought Reunion, is pushing hard. They put out a PEA. They say they're going to put out a feasibility by the end of the year, I think. So, obviously, it's interesting times. We see it as one very large deposit, and at some stage we think it'll come together in some manner or form.
Okay, so you have some confidence that G Mining, when they need the money, it's going to be there for them to do a deal.
I think so. I mean, G Mining is obviously, they've got in Brazil, they've got Tocantinzinho into production now. Obviously, that's always a challenge when you first start, and that's all their focus. Their build team is obviously, I think, moving to Guyana. We'll see how they go. Obviously, we've got our shareholder, Anglo Gold, who owns 15%, and they've made it clear that they want to go higher. But all these things will be coming together, you'd think, within the next 6, maybe 12 months, as the impetus at the project itself gets going, and then decisions have to be made about how it's going to be built and what's going to be built.
What's interesting in terms of competitive tension, for sure. And I guess it's which is good news for you and your shareholders in terms of who's willing to show their hand, as it were. So either G Mining comes in and picks you guys up as well, so that conversation hasn't really gone away, or Anglo Gold Ashanti says, well, we'll pick this up, but on its own it's not enough, so maybe they make a bid for G Mining. Who knows? It's kind of exciting times. We shall see. Are you when do you know more about it, or is it a case of head down and get on with it?
To a degree, it's head down and get on with it, although we obviously do have communications with these other companies, and fairly openly, and by our bankers. So you can't put your head in the sand. Can't really talk about it either. But it is obviously a fairly obvious issue that's going to have to be dealt with in the next few months, and it's exciting times. And however, or whoever gets involved, will be involved in one of the largest developments in South America, I think. I mean, this is a very large deposit. It runs over 5 kilometres to strike. On the Reunion side, or G Mining side, they built it to 1 kilometre of depth. It's definitely a very large deposit. When I was in the Newmont Marion pit last year, and it was 2 kilometres long by 1 kilometre wide, and I'm going, wow, that's huge. Well, this is twice as long, even more than twice as long. So, I mean, it's a very, very large deposit. It's going to be a big build, and it's going to be a great mine.
It's interesting. That's a big balance sheet you're also talking about, and I guess in G Mining there's the skill set there for building, which whether it be ventures or otherwise. I won't push you on that one, because like I say, there's only so much you can say if you are in discussions with these groups. Let's talk about some of the other things that you've done since I saw you last, which was obviously you put out the full kind of technical report, Footy 101, which is great. You've been expanding the Oko zone, etc., and you've done a deal with this, I guess, local family as well. What's the purpose of all of that? Is that to kind of show the extent and potential to these potential buyers?
Yeah, I mean, basically, there's obviously a few different things going on here, and one is drilling at Guyana, where we thought we had south, north, and central. It's really all one now. That shear just continues along. Where we hadn't drilled at surface, there was just water and whatever else with no geochemistry. So that's all come together. We're drilling that down to 500 and 600 metres. We because we're looking at MPV when we go to sit down and compare it to our neighbours. And also we're drilling in the gap between what was Gani and Oko main zone, and we're definitely hitting that mineralisation there as we come south from Oko main zone on Shear 3, but also going north. So that's all coming together. And so what we found was a bit too smart for ourselves. We thought there was a gap there, but it was just a change in geology for a short while there. And when you get the sandstones and siltstones, you really don't get a very reactive rock, which drops gold. But as you come down plunge along strike, you get back into the favourite rocks, which are the carbonaceous sediments, but also the magnetite-rich volcanics. So really it's just one long system, and we're just drilling like crazy. We've got 5 rigs on there at the moment. We'll put the 6th on when I get down next week, with the idea we can get this filled off down to 500 or 600 metres by Christmas. So you'll put a new resource out in the new year. And obviously anyone in the data room can see that. So that's one thing we're doing. The other thing is we're trying to find more discoveries. So we're drilling up at Aramu at the moment. We also did that deal with the family down in Guyana for an extra 30,000 acres, which attaches to the northwest of Aramu directly and out to the east of Aramu, right around the Aramu batholith, which seems to be the controlling fluid flow up there for the gold mineralisation, but also out on the Cutie River further to the east, the old Wariri mine, which was the original underground mine in Guyana in 1862. So that's good. Once again, because we're getting back into that exploration, which really does drive a lot of value. And as we move forward, we've talked about, and we are going to spin out G3. That'll be voted on at the AGM in November. So G3 will include all the Aramu claims, the Amsterdam claims, all the new claims that we did recently for 30,000 acres, plus the Peters mine. So in G3, you'll have the historic Peters mine, the historic Aramu mine, and the Wariri mine, adjacent to what will be probably one of the biggest builds in South America over the next 5 years. So it's it's a good piece of paper, and that's how we think we'll extract value for our shareholders, because that will come out with the remaining cash as well. So it won't be a dilution out. No,
right. But how do you decide which assets get spun out? Because look, we started this conversation about potential bidding war here. You know, you've got the G mining, you've got obviously Anglo Gold potential there, and maybe someone else comes along too as this kind of combined package starts to look quite significant, right? But you must have made that decision off the basis of discussions that you've had with bidders or interested parties, shall we say? So does G3 kind of get some of the good stuff, none of the good stuff? I mean, how do you say it's valuable? It's to your shareholders.
It gets basically what we're doing is the Gani and the Oko Vieira claims are being converted into prospecting licenses, which can then become large-scale mining licenses, and that'll be the package which has all the resources on it to date. And then the Aramu, we haven't spent enough time exploring. All the Amsterdam, we haven't really got past the grassroots phase. And obviously the new land we picked up, the 30,000 acres, hasn't had any exploration yet by us. So that is all pure exploration. Now, obviously, with Anglo Gold, they've done 15 to 20% of that just by being shareholders of G2, as can anybody else. So that's the sales pitch. But basically, so that'll come out and have money to get on with the explore. And then what needs to go quickly through development phase and be discussed with the other half of the project are the claims which host Gani, Oko, and Oko Northwest. So there's a natural split there. There's what's already been discovered and what's yet to be discovered as really mineable resources.
And if I look at the way that Reunion and G mining, a lot of Gs, did their deal, it was obviously they spun out, I think it was a Greenheart, got 14 million bucks thrown into the kitty, or 13 million thrown into the kitty. That's a nice kind of head start for them. Did you consider waiting until maybe some potential deal happened, or is it too far away and out of your control to do that?
We think we'll vote on it in November, so it would come out in the first quarter. We'd like to think we've done something with G2 by then as well. We honestly believe that with the timelines that G mining is sort of driving to the south of us, there is an imperative to get something done. We think they'd come out and it would happen at the same time. Now, if it doesn't happen at the same time, then we would spin out G3, but that would just go raise money separately if that happens.
Right. Okay. And you want to be in control
of G2.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And you want to say, you're saying, I want to be in control of the assets that we do spin out. I don't think they're of enough value to kind of damage the value we get on G2, what we are focused on G2. Like, for instance, like let's talk about Ghani's high grade potential. For instance, is that's more important? Is it
At the moment for the valuation of G2? Absolutely. I think I'd say 99% of our valuation at the moment is on the Guyana Oko Northwest package in the southeast. And here the Guyana high grade is coming together very well. And now we have the Guyana Eastern Shield as well, which is starting to form. So it's definitely, as far as value creation in it right here, right now, over the next 3 months, absolutely drilling with 6 rigs at Guyana and in the gap area between Oko Northwest is the real focus of value creation.
It's kind of interesting to me. We've spoken to a few companies in country, and they've all seen a nice sort of uptick recently, and a lot more interest in band. Where's that suddenly come from? Is it just gold price related, and therefore anything that can produce and can produce soon is going to be attractive, or has there something happened like politically, or what's going on in country?
I think, over the long term, what we've seen with the oil discovery and Exxon investing so much, and now Chevron, is that the investors in North America and Europe are seeing it as a safe country to invest in. The government's ran it very well. And then we've had, obviously, the takeover of Reunion by G Mining. So that looks good. The permitting process in Guyana has flowed well through Toroparu, even though it hasn't been built, but it's permitted well. G Mining is running through the process now. So people see it as a place to invest. And now with the gold uptick, it's like, well, where do we invest? Obviously, Guyana, if the money's coming in. So I think Guyana's done a great job as a country to make it investable. And now it's reaping the rewards, or the companies there are reaping those rewards from good, stable policies by the government.
Right. And just if I may, okay, so come back to this kind of package you picked up recently with this kind of family. It's kind of virgin territory. There's been no exploration there at all. What data was available to you? What leads you to believe it could be?
Nothing in Guyana is really that virgin. The British Geological Survey was mapping there from the 1933 to 66.
Okay.
The mining happened out in the 70s. So the Wariri mine is part of that package. And that was a mine on the Cuny River from 1862 through the 1950s on and off. And then wrapping around from Arrow up to Quartzstone, there's been a lot of artisanal alluvial workings. So there's definitely gold already on all the claims. So we'll be putting out a 43-1 on that shortly. But yes, I wouldn't say, it's a bit like Oko, never been drilled, but not virgin.
Okay, not virgin. Okay, interesting. Well, look, I mean, Dan, there's not much to say. It feels like exciting times. I mean, the main resource coming out in, when you say Q1?
Yeah, as soon as we'll drill up to Christmas, and then we go into the resource. So it should be in January for sure.
Because it's big enough, right? Is that it's kind of not a very Canadian thing to say, but it is big enough.
It is big enough, yeah. We've always gone with, the first resource was more than 1 million, the second one was more than 2, just. The third one should be more than 3, is what we stated at the start of the year. That's what we've been drilling towards. We think the results we've been getting on the back of the envelope, we should push through that. So, and then we'll keep drilling. There's no reason to stop, but we think at the moment, if the other side of the fence didn't exist, this would be a mine on its own, a high grade, and I think the average grade is probably about 4.5 grams. But it's still, you don't get away from the fact that it's part of one big system, and the release of value there is somehow managing to put those together, whether we do it currently with our shareholders or someone else will. So it's
right,
reflects that value.
And I can ask, with regards to the raise you did back in August, the $42 million, right? I'm looking at your share charts, so I think I know what the answer is going to be. But why raise so much money, given that you're kind of talking the game of maybe some competitive tension around and bidding wars?
Well, it was pointed out to us by several large funds that with the takeover of Reunion by G Mining, that we'd be looking at a lot of interest here, and it'd be good to have some money in the till so people don't just wait you out. So that was pointed out to us. As a board, we knew that. We also wanted to make sure that that money that came in had the same ideas as us on the end strategy, and hence that's why it was a single fund out of Europe. And then obviously Anglo Gold got to participate for their pro rata. That's what bumped it up. So, but at that number, I mean, we could drill for the next 2.5 years and be fine. So no one's going to sit us in the corner and wait us out. We're at the table here in discussions to see how this pans out, and we've got no time pressure. So that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, always a good thing to be in control. Well, look, I mean, Dan, it's a simple story. It's simple enough investment thesis to get behind. So, look, appreciate your time, and thanks for the update.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Always a pleasure.